with yourself, or go out there and listen to what other people want, and then you take that input that other people have given you and you say, you know what, I would like to do X, Y, and Z with, these, with these people like, and I like it too, so I'm going to create that. Having that communication. Yes? Oh,
you might be going for the pictures.
Oh, sorry about that. Am I back?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
So I can hear him. He was doing good.
Yeah. So what once you get through that dilemma of looking at what you would like to present and what people would like to see you present, I think stepping outside of yourself, going to others, having group messages, creating, going to other people and finding out what the world wants, then you find your target market. So now whenever you create the things that you love, you're actually creating them for that target market that you share an equal love for. So once you find that, then you start creating, and I think you'll get a better response.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, can I respond to Chuck real quick?
Do it.
So, it just makes me think of, I restarted my photography 2 years ago. I think I explained that. And so I was posting things to my personal Facebook. And I have a friend who's a photographer, an acquaintance who's a photographer. And I'm not a big fan of her style. Her work is very blasé, in my opinion, for me. And then I have another friend whose daughter's a photographer, whose work it's quality work, but it's not doesn't appeal to me. As far as creating it, it wouldn't satisfy me. But so I was creating what I liked, and both of them kept telling me that I needed to change my editing and to appeal, like, okay, yeah, you like that, but you can't create what you like. You need to create what other people want. If you want to have a business.
Do they have a business?
Yes, she has it's like a side business, one of them, and the other one's daughter has gotten some, is successful and has gotten some like notoriety and shoots for like, I don't know, like
so let's
politicians and stuff.
So let's dissect that. These individuals are doing things that you don't think that would appeal to you, but these individuals are being successful. So, I would listen to what they're saying because they're giving you advice that is working for them. And if you are in a position that you're looking to monetize or get your stuff out there, I don't see the advice that they're giving you as bad advice.
I'm gonna, I don't know if you don't mind me chiming in. This is Carlo. I'm a professional photographer out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But I'm gonna respectfully disagree with Chuck.
Why?
So, I mean, a little history on me. Like, I'm older. I'm 42. I started my photography career before Instagram came out. And the whole thing was that, a lot of photographers back then were using light and bright filters and all these different presets and stuff like that. And they were getting attention because the public couldn't do it, because they didn't have Instagram. They didn't have these quick filters to put a film tone on their images. And 90 to 95% of my peers went in that direction. They all went this light and bright or preset film filter look. And I said, I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to run the opposite direction. That's not my brand. That's not who I am. So I went with clean and crisp. And I would, market it to my clients as timeless. They're not going to look back at a photo and say, oh, I remember that filter from 2008, that type of thing. And, the guiding quote that I always followed was that, Dolly Parton once said, you got to be first, best, or different. And I've never been first or best, but I've always leaned into being different. And that paid off for me in the long run. I'm able to charge more now for my work because people identify it with me. People see my work and they say, oh, that's a Carlo photo, that type of thing. and it's paid off immensely in the long run. So I would also say that there probably might be, sometimes the situations, sometimes those individuals might be a little threatened by you. They might see it as good original work, and they're trying to get you to concede and assimilate to the style that they're used to producing.
I'm gonna share a little bit about halfway in between what Chuck said and what Carla said. And Carla, thank you for that input. And Chuck, thank you as well. I really like this conversation. I think this is the kind of conversation that leads to really truly helping someone like Susan that's looking for what's her style. And I think style is something different than branding. I think style is part of a brand.
Except that I kind of know my style.
Okay, good.
Just so you know.
Oh, that's good.
I was just saying, that was in the beginning what they were saying to me. I wasn't saying that.
No,
but
that's
anyhow, I can divulge more, but go ahead.
Okay, but I like that. I mean, I like that you've got your style, that's your thing. When designing this is where licensing has really helped me as an artist, because when designing something that's going to end up being a product on a store, it's different than designing something for a specific family. You're designing it for a broader mass, and quite often I'll stop and it's made me think differently when designing something that's going to be my style, because how does my style still look like me when it's designed for the broad mass? So what I did is I kind of looked backwards in time, and I said, what are the things that give people a nostalgic feeling? What are the things that make people feel warm in their hearts? What are those things that have been built up over time, that young, old, male, female, they see those things and they feel good about them? And a good example is, what can I give as a really good example? Maybe a simple example would be a snowman, right? Doesn't matter where you live. If you're a child, and even if you live in sunny Florida, our kids are always saying, I can't wait to see snow so I can build a snowman. And yet they've never even seen snow, right? There's certain things that make you feel good. Sometimes it's a smell of apple pie, or, that are those things that run across the board for all people that make you feel good. So I started writing this big list of those things. And then I looked at those things objectively as a whole, and I said, well, how can I create artwork that has my feel but touches on those feelings? That has my style for what I love to do, that I feel good with doing, that is unto me, but that touches those feelings. And you're not going to touch all those feelings at one time, but it might touch 4 or 5 of them. So suddenly when people look at that art, they smell that apple pie. But they don't, it's a subconscious thing. So that's I'm just sharing, that's part of how I do a creation of something new, and then bring it to the public with a little bit of knowledge prior that it's going to make you feel good whether you know it or not.
If I may, Susan?
Yeah, go for it, George.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, sorry. So just to kind of go back to where Chuck was at, and then to how you would respond to the question. So I understand that they may be successful with what they're doing, but I think that I feel like it's 2-part, right? Because you have like the creative side, but then you have a business running side. Like I feel like they could be successful because they know how to run a business. That it doesn't have anything to do with the product that they're selling. Because I feel like a person who knows sales could sell your style or could sell their style. So I feel like when it really boils down to it, you could create the things you want to create, but if you know business and you know sales or you know marketing and branding, and you can create a brand position, you can create a trend. You could be a trendsetter for the things that you do, and it could sell just as well as whatever they're doing. If not more, if not better. So I don't know that just because they're successful that you have to shoot like they do or that your style has to be like theirs. If I were to take anything from them, it would probably be business practice as far as, what are they doing to put their face out there with their business, or what are their marketing tactics? What are their sales tactics? What does their brand position look like? What does their brand Bible look like? What do they do as a business? Because I feel like a lot of businesses or successful businesses tend to follow certain business guidelines. Like, you have a business plan, you have a marketing plan, you have a mission statement, you have a vision statement. You have these things that you can put in order. You're consistent on social media. You're putting money and funds into ads, or you're putting money and time into SEO. Like, it's almost like regardless of whatever it is that you're creating, if it's resonating with you, there's an ideal client out there that likes the things that you like, and that's the person you want to sell to anyway, right? Like, those are the people that you want to create that trend for, right? So, I mean, that's just how I'm seeing it. Sorry.
Yeah, so, I'll share what my response was to them. I took it with a grain of salt because I felt like my style was different than their style, so to validate their style, they knocked my style. And it did get in my head, though, in the sense of, like, can I tone down my style a little to bring it a little more to the center, where maybe it might appeal to a broader audience? But, like, they were very vociferous. Like, they repeatedly would knock what I was producing. And the one of my friends kept saying, you really need to have my daughter teach you how to edit. And I just resisted because I did not want to edit like her. She may be good, she might be successful, but that wasn't going to bring me pleasure. And I had another friend who just kept telling me, there's an audience, like, it's kind of what you said. There's a client for every style. And, like, my work may not have been exactly her cup of tea, but she respected that it was mine, and that I would create, she respected my growth and gave me room without judgment. And I appreciated that tactic much more than my other friends who, just thought for some reason that they needed to negatively bash me. Not only, like, just bash me, but do it in public. Like, publicly on my Facebook. Like, just post a photo and they're like, oh.
That's nasty.
If you want to be successful, you need to produce blah, blah, blah. And I'm like thinking, why are you doing this, like, publicly? That's something you would bring to somebody in private. So, but anywho, so it kind of...
Can you check on your package?
I just did.
Photos, or like comments like this. Oh, I really like this one.
But
No. It would be an image. I really like this one, or you did a great job on this one. Which is still their little negative thing that they didn't appreciate my other work. But exactly backhanded. So it really makes me question their own egos, really.
Let me clarify what I was saying. These individuals had great advice, but the delivery was way off. There's two sides to this. There's the artistic side, and then there is the business side. These are two different worlds. When I said, when I asked the question, are they successful? And yes, they have valid points. By no means did I, insinuate or mean that you should change what you do for them. That is absolutely not where I was going with that. And also, I have my own niche that no one likes, how I edit and things of that nature. That's not what I was speaking of. They are speaking from a position of they have clients that are purchasing their stuff. What I was trying to get to is that you need to find the audience that likes what you do, or you need to find the people who also align with what you do. So, to me, the math is like this. If you find a group of people what you can relate to that love what you love as well, because these two girls that don't like you have obviously found their group. This planet has 8 billion people on it. I do believe you can find your group. Once you find your group and and they like what you do, I think you're going to have a lot more, success, and the proper love and respect to your art that you think you deserve. You're going to receive that, but you're just in front of the wrong eyeballs. So that means your social media network is filled with individuals who are really not willing to lift you up, but knock you down in public. If they were really your friends, they would come in the background and say, you know what, can I give you my opinion? And instead of, forcing their know-how in public to make you look bad, I wouldn't call those friends. But finding where you can fit in with other people that have the same love for what you do is paramount.
Yeah, I agree. So, what came from that for me was, one, I do have their voice in the back of my head, though. And sometimes I do feel like, okay, I need to try to get to a place that's going to satisfy everybody. And that's kind of a challenge. But for the most part, I mean, I just, keep doing what I love. And I know that I need to find other people who love what I do. And,
how do you find them?
Or I guess they find me. I don't know. They find me. I mean, I have.
How do you find them? If your network, if your network is not bringing them there, there's other ways to find them. I don't know what your style is, but to me, conventions.
Well, you can go look at my Instagram. You can go look at my Instagram, see my stuff.
I feel like I kind of give you a little preface for little ways that you can go about helping them to find you. And it's just to make yourself known, whether it's you're getting out and talking to people, whether it's you're creating a platform, you're creating content on social media, the things that are saying, hey, this is me, this is what I create, and I'm going to put it in front of people's faces, and when it hits the right people, those are the ones that are going to become part of your crew, because they're going to obsess or be a fan of what you create. So I think you've got something going. I don't know. That's my opinion. I think you let someone kind of get in your ear, and it's the same shit that a lot of us do. But when you remember who you are, remember who the fuck you are, remember what you do and what you're capable of, that's when you kind of really become concrete with you, and you get back in love with you and the things that you like doing, and the people that resonate with that shit they're gonna flock to you because of what you create. I mean, I feel like that's like with every literally quote unquote influencer, literally people who have fans, people who are on social media and people come to their lives all the time, people come to their photos, like they have people that resonate with this thing, and they always want to be where you're at, and always want to do what you're doing, and always want to see what you're doing. And obviously you're gonna have haters, but haters make me famous. No, you're gonna have haters, but you're gonna have a lot of people that love what you do, and you're gonna have a lot of people that you influence and that you encourage and you motivate to do things that they love doing as well. And at some point, the things that you love creating, it's going to become recognizable to the extent where you're going to see somebody else's work that kind of looks like, I'm going to see somebody else's work that looks like yours, and to me, and let's say, oh, that reminds me of a Susan piece. And that happens to a lot of the photographers that I kind of, I've looked at their work. There's this guy out of Calipatria named, I think his name is Caleb, but on his Instagram it's Caleb. And he creates these little pieces where he puts like a Super Mario star or a mushroom or just little question mark box that Mario has to jump and open. He puts these little pieces in his pictures, And they're pretty cool because I never really see somebody composite those things into it and using like LED lights to kind of, you know, um, get that ambient light on the subject that matches the thing that he composited into the picture. And so I started seeing other people do that, and I was like, oh, that looks like what Caleb does. And he was like one of the first people to do that. We started seeing a lot of Brandon Wolfel stuff, and then everybody started doing the fairy lights and string lights and the rainbow cotton candy colors. And I'm like, oh, that's like Brandon Wolfel's work. You know, so you kind of create this niche and this kind of thing that is different and unique because it's coming from you. And that, I feel like, is what creates those trends that you were talking about. Like, how do you create a trend, or how do you do the things that get people, you know, to kind of swarm to it? And I just think, like, being a trend is, like, the last thing to worry about, but definitely being genuine and authentic should be the first.
The first thing that I would ask is, what do you want? You know, and you know, if it's a business that you want, you know, you're going to have to create a solution to a problem. In any business, whether it's photography or whatever, you have to have a solution, and you have to know what you're selling. You have to understand the value of what you are selling. So, you know, with that said, I took a look at your portfolio, and you have a very, you know, Midwestern, you know, kind of a semi-edgy style. It is very unique, and you are correct. Now, you know, not everyone is going to be able to see, you know, tell what your story is or see your story. So you're going to have to, you know, find out who likes what you do. And then once you find out you know, who likes what you do, then you're going to have to go find them and where they hang out, find their watering hole. Now, you're going to have to create a solution to a problem, because you're not going to be, an image is worthless in this day and age. Why? Because, you know, images, you can't derive value from free. Images are given out all day long free, and with AI, people are now creating images that, you know, are very, very creative and artistic for free. So you're going to have a solution for someone else's problem, and then you're going to have to relay that message, and how are you going to solve that? This is the way to find where to go, what to do in your business, so everyone will fall in love with your solution to their problem.
That was great. Great combo. I'm hearing all you guys, just everybody's opinions.
You got
See,
this,
and for
man,
me,
like-
and see, that was the thing for me, was the two women who kept being negative. The one wasn't a photographer; it was her daughter that was a photographer. The other one, it's not a thriving business. But my friend, who was very supportive, like, I love her work. She has a thriving business. She's successful. So
You really
I was
love
gonna
her?